Keanu Reeves, as fate would have it, was heading to Los Angeles on a routine flight, seeking a moment of solitude and exclusive comfort of first class. Unbeknownst to most, his trademark silver necklace, a modest piece imbued with personal significance, dangled subtly beneath his hoodie, a token of remembrance for a friend long lost. The flight was fully booked, with an eclectic mix of high-powered executives, international travelers, and a smattering of celebrities who preferred to remain incognito. Keanu had chosen this seat not only for the luxury it afforded, but also for the reprieve from the public spotlight. As he stepped onto the aircraft, he exchanged polite nods with the cabin crew. One attendant, in particular, caught his attention, a young woman named Eliza, whose crisp uniform and brisk demeanor hinted at someone committed to maintaining strict order in the cabin. Eliza's day had already been a series of minor crises. A delayed departure, irate passengers, and last-minute catering issues had all contributed to a growing sense of fatigue and irritability. When she noticed the glint of Keanu's silver necklace as he stowed his carry-on, she frowned. In her eyes, such an accessory was not only an unnecessary adornment, but also a potential safety hazard in a confined space. Without a moment's hesitation, she approached him, her tone brisk and unyielding. "Sir," she began, her voice edged with authority and barely concealed impatience, "I'm going to need you to tuck your necklace away inside your shirt. Jewelry like that is not allowed in first class due to safety regulations." Keanu, always the epitome of calm and courtesy, offered a gentle smile. "Of course," he replied, his voice soft yet measured. With a graceful motion, he concealed the necklace under his shirt. Yet Eliza's scrutiny did not abate. Her eyes narrowed as she inspected him, her expression morphing into one of disdain. "And please," she added sharply, "make sure it stays hidden. We have strict rules here, and I'd hate for any issues to arise because of this." The remark, dripping with condescension, drew the attention of nearby passengers. Whispers fluttered among them as they exchanged glances. Keanu's eyes remained calm, though a flicker of surprise betrayed his otherwise composed exterior. He nodded once more, his expression one of patient acceptance. Throughout the early stages of the flight, the cabin was relatively quiet. Soft classical music played over the intercom, and the gentle hum of conversation mingled with the periodic clatter of service trolleys. Eliza, determined to maintain order, moved about the cabin with a brisk efficiency. Yet, as the plane ascended into cruising altitude, the weather took an unexpected turn. The aircraft soon encountered a series of sharp turbulence pockets, sending shudders throughout the cabin. As nervous murmurs spread among the passengers, Keanu remained the picture of tranquility. His composed manner and reassuring smile helped to calm a few anxious souls. In one instance, a young woman seated next to him began to panic. Her eyes were wide with fear, and her hands trembled as she clutched the armrest. Not missing a beat, Keanu leaned over and spoke in a soft, comforting tone. "It's all right. This is just a bit of turbulence. We're perfectly safe." His words, imbued with a soothing quality, helped ease her distress, and she gradually relaxed, returning a timid smile in gratitude. Eliza, busy with her responsibilities, observed this exchange from a distance. Slowly, her earlier irritation began to melt away, replaced by a burgeoning sense of admiration. How could this man remain so composed under pressure? His quiet confidence, in contrast to the anxious energy that pervaded the cabin, was both unexpected and disarming. For a brief moment, she wondered if she had been too hasty in her earlier admonishment. In the following hours, as the flight continued its journey over the Atlantic, Eliza found herself watching Keanu with a new perspective. She noted the way he interacted with other passengers, always with a gentle smile, a kind word, and an unassuming grace. His demeanor was a stark counterpoint to the cutthroat world outside, where fame and fortune often came at the cost of humility. As the captain's voice came over the intercom announcing smoother skies ahead, Eliza's thoughts turned inward. Was her rigidity, her unyielding enforcement of protocol, masking a deeper vulnerability? Had her own frustrations blinded her to the humanity of those she served? The turning point came as the flight began its descent into Los Angeles. The cabin, now bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun filtering through the windows, exuded a calm that belied the earlier turbulence. As passengers prepared for landing, Eliza mustered the courage to approach Keanu once more. In the hushed quiet of the near landing, she stepped forward with a tentative apology. "Mr. Reeves, if I may," she began, her voice soft and uncharacteristically tentative. "I want to apologize for my tone earlier. I was under a lot of stress, and I shouldn't have been so harsh with you about your necklace." Her eyes searched his, seeking forgiveness. "You handled everything with such grace, even calming that frightened passenger. I, I'm truly sorry if I disrespected you." Keanu regarded her with his signature calm, his eyes warm and forgiving. "Thank you truly," he replied. "We all have our moments of stress. I understand more than you might think." His gentle laugh eased the tension, and for a brief moment, the chaotic world of air travel seemed to pause. The rest of the flight passed in a reflective silence. As the plane touched down smoothly on the runway of Los Angeles International, passengers began gathering their belongings. Amid the flurry of disembarking travelers, Eliza watched as Keanu calmly retrieved his bag from the overhead compartment. For her, this encounter was more than just a fleeting moment of humility. It was a profound lesson in empathy and the human capacity for forgiveness. In the days that followed, the story of that particular flight began to ripple through the corridors of JFK and even made its way into internal memos circulated among the cabin crew. Eliza, now deeply affected by her encounter with the gentle star, shared the experience with her colleagues. "We often judge too quickly," she explained during a team meeting, her voice carrying the weight of hard-earned wisdom. "A simple piece of jewelry might seem trivial, but can hold so much meaning. And sometimes the person you think you're reprimanding is the very person who teaches you the importance of kindness and understanding." The narrative of that flight soon took on a life of its own. Rumors began to swirl that a famous actor had flown incognito, and that his humility had shone brighter than his stardom. Social media buzzed with the tale of the flight attendant who had learned a lesson from a celebrated guest. Keanu's necklace, once a subject of scrutiny, became a symbol of personal value and the unexpected ways in which life teaches us about respect. As weeks turned into months, Eliza found herself transformed by that encounter. The rigid boundaries she had once maintained began to soften. She became more patient with difficult passengers, more compassionate when conflicts arose, and always made a conscious effort to see the person behind the uniform. In quiet moments between flights, she recalled Keanu's gentle demeanor and his willingness to forgive, a quality that resonated deeply within her. Meanwhile, Keanu continued his life largely out of the public eye, yet the memory of that flight lingered with him as well. The necklace he wore, once hidden under his shirt due to a moment of misunderstanding, now served as a reminder of the unexpected connections that can form even in the most routine of circumstances. He reflected on the incident during quiet nights spent in Los Angeles, realizing that even those in positions of fame are not immune to the small, yet significant acts of human kindness. Over time, Eliza and Keanu's paths would cross again in subtle, unspoken ways. On a subsequent flight to San Francisco, Eliza found herself scanning the cabin for a familiar face. Though she never saw him, the memory of that day had permanently altered her outlook. In her journal, she wrote about the importance of every encounter, of the power of a simple apology, and of the unexpected ways that grace can be transmitted from one soul to another. In a world where rules and protocols often overshadow human connection, the story of that fateful flight served as a beacon of hope, a reminder that compassion can break through even the most rigid barriers. Keanu's quiet strength and Eliza's heartfelt regret became intertwined, a narrative that encouraged everyone involved to approach their work with a renewed sense of purpose and empathy. Thus, what began as a moment of friction between a weary flight attendant and a famous actor transformed into a lifelong lesson. Eliza learned that humility and kindness are virtues that transcend any uniform or rulebook, and Keanu's unassuming nature reminded all who encountered him that true strength lies not in outward appearances, but the quiet power of forgiveness and understanding. As the years passed, the tale of that stormy flight from JFK to Los Angeles continued to be recounted among the cabin crew and passengers alike, a modern parable of how one small act, a single moment of genuine human connection, could ripple outwards to touch countless lives. And every time Eliza recounted the story, she would pause, glancing at the simple silver necklace she once admonished, and remember that sometimes the smallest gestures can hold the deepest meaning.